Friends, today I want to speak honestly with you. I really have something important to say. I will even say it right away, almost at the end of the video. You are all incredibly strong people. Seriously. Why do I say that? Because I know who is watching me. Many of you have a migration background. You are people who already live abroad, or people who are planning to move, or people who are standing at a crossroads right now and thinking, should I go or should I stay? And this video is exactly for you. I want you to understand one simple thing from the very beginning. If you are even thinking about moving to another country, if you are already living there, struggling, learning, adapting, you are already strong. You already did something that many people never dare to do in their whole life. Leaving your country, your language, your comfort zone. This is not easy. This is scary. This creates stress, fear, and doubts. But the fact that you are here, listening to this, means you already took responsibility for your life. So before we talk about language, accents, dialects, and all the problems, I want you to remember this. You are not weak, you are not stupid, and you are not worse than others. You are brave people who decided to change their life. I speak German quite well, honestly. Maybe not C1 or C2, or maybe I'm just too self-critical, but I really can communicate. Yes, I have a strong Russian accent, and any Austrian hears immediately that I'm a foreigner. But I understand almost everything, and I can say what I need in most everyday situations. Of course, I can't stand in front of students and teach at a university. That's a different level. But for normal life, work, and communication, my German is fine. And then something interesting happened. Because of my job, I travel a lot around Austria. I meet different people in different regions, and suddenly I started to notice something strange. I understand that I don't understand anything. Zero. I just stand there like a sheep and try to catch a few words from the context to guess what people are talking about. This usually happens in groups. Austria is a country of dialects. There are many versions of German here, and very often, these dialects have almost nothing in common with Standard German. Really, nothing. You can live in Burgenland or Styria and get used to the local dialect. But when you go a bit further, everything changes again. And suddenly, it's not okay anymore. The paradox is this. When Austrians speak to you one-on-one, especially if they know you are a foreigner and they are polite people, they usually switch to Standard German, Hochdeutsch. You can even ask them politely, could you please speak Standard German? Sometimes they don't like this word Hochdeutsch, so I usually say Standard German. And then it works. But the moment they start talking to each other, even when you are standing right next to them, they immediately switch back to dialect. And you understand nothing. Absolutely nothing. You just stand there, smiling, completely lost. These situations started to happen to me more and more often, and at some point I thought, maybe there is something wrong with me. Maybe I didn't learn the language properly. Maybe I'm not talented enough. Maybe I will never fully understand this country. This feeling is very unpleasant. It creates a strong sense of insecurity. You start doubting yourself, your language level, and even yourself as a person. And I know for sure, many migrants in Austria feel exactly the same way. At some point, these situations started to hit me emotionally. I began to notice a strange pattern. Words come out naturally. I feel strong in the language, confident. And with another person, suddenly my tongue just stops working. I can't connect two words. In my head, I think, what C1? What B2? You're barely A1 right now. And honestly, in those moments, it feels really bad. A feeling of inferiority appears. You start thinking that you're somehow broken, not good enough, that language learning is not for you. I wanted to talk exactly about this emotion, because I know many people feel it, but rarely say it out loud. Here's what I understood. First of all, when people speak in a group in their local dialect, this happens in any country, not only in Austria. If what they are talking about was really important for you, they would try to include you and help you understand. So very often the conclusion is simple. It's just not meant for you, and that's okay. Second point. If you ask a person to speak standard German and they still continue speaking dialect, there are only two options. Either this person genuinely cannot speak differently. They grew up in a small place. Dialect is all they know, and it's not really their fault. In that case, you can ask them to speak slower and try to adapt. Or the second option. The person is simply not very intelligent or not very polite. And that is not your problem. It's theirs. So don't take it personally. The biggest mistake we make is that we start blaming ourselves. We think we are weak, stupid, untalented. But very often, the problem is not our language level. It's the situation, the context, and the people. So if you ever feel small, insecure, or less than others because of language, stop. This feeling does not define you. It's just part of the migration experience. Now I want to talk about what actually helps in these moments. When fear appears, when dialects confuse you, and when language pressure just blocks your brain. First of all, remember this. If you moved to another country knowing only a few words, you are already strong. Seriously. I know many people who tell me, how can I go there with 5 words? And they still go. And that already makes you cool, because you are doing several hard things at the same time. You think what you want to say in your native language, you try to catch words from context in a foreign language, you guess the meaning, and at the same time, you build an answer. That's 3 processes at once. For example, at a job interview, this is hard work for the brain. So don't think something is wrong with you. On the contrary, your brain is training. You will not get dementia, trust me. Be happy that you are pushing yourself like this. Now about fear. Why does it happen that with one person you speak well, and with another you suddenly swallow your tongue? Because we are adults. We have critical thinking. We constantly think, what if I make a mistake? What if they judge me? What if this is important? Children don't have this problem. They don't care. They just speak. So here is a simple trick. If you feel blocked, excuse yourself, go to the toilet, look at yourself in the mirror, and say, I allow you to make mistakes. That's it. Come back and speak. Speak simpler than you can. 2 or 3 minutes like that, and your brain will switch. The fear goes away. You already speak with mistakes anyway. Everyone hears it. So a few more mistakes don't change anything. What really matters is confidence, not perfect grammar. Confidence is much more important than grammar. And one more thing. Don't destroy yourself trying to learn the language perfectly. Yes, watch Netflix, listen to podcasts, read something. But don't forget to live. Life is not only language learning, especially when you are not 20 anymore. Sometimes it's okay to rest. Sometimes it's okay to say, not today. If you choose between grammar and self-confidence, choose confidence, always. Work on your confidence first. Everything else will come later. I want to finish this with the most important thought. Please don't idealize anything. Not a country, not a language, not your dream place. Even in a rich, developed country like Austria, you would be shocked if you knew how many absolutely incompetent people work in good positions. Really, a lot of them are locals. And at the same time, there are many foreigners who speak the language badly, with mistakes, with accents, but they are confident. And because of that confidence, they get good jobs and good positions. So remind yourself of this every time you feel small, weak, or not good enough. The problem is not your grammar, not your accent, not the dialect. The problem starts only when you don't believe in yourself. If you left your home country, if you decided to move, if you live abroad or even think about it, you are already strong. You already left your comfort zone. That alone puts you above many people who stayed where it was safe and familiar. Yes, fear appears. Yes, sometimes you feel stupid. Yes, dialects are hard, and people can be confusing. That's normal. If you stayed in your comfort zone, you wouldn't feel any of this, but you also wouldn't grow. So stop squeezing yourself. Stop thinking you are worse than others. You are not. Your brain is developing. You are learning to adapt, and this experience makes you stronger. Believe in yourself more than in grammar rules. Confidence will take you much further. That was my honest message for you today. Thank you for listening.